I'm not going to recap the whole game, but try to highlight in images in these photographs some of the plays or concepts that I thought were interesting to me. In particular, in the first half, I'm just kind of getting into the game film now. Pretty impressed by the pressure that was brought and then the discipline overall that the defense played with. The first player that jumped out to me, and we're looking at it right here on our screen, is Justin Madubuike. He came out on fire. That first drive, he is just dominating from the three-tech position. You see him right here. He ends up right on Flacco's feet and just crushing the right guard. Here's another image. This time the second quarter, you see Madubuike finding the football, dominating the man in front of him versus the run. I think he's versus the right guard here. Full 3 yards back off the ball. The ball is, not quite into the belly of the back, and he's on it. He ends up making the play here. So he was dominant in the first half as I've watched him. He was also on fire. Just really up for the game. You notice that with the defense, guys coming up to each other, congratulating each other. I saw that out of Kyle Hamilton a lot. That was good to see, just that attitude on the field. The defensive front, Pierce, Campbell, Madubuike played great. All of them played great. Madubuike, as I've watched it now just for the first time in the first half, just killing whoever he's up against. The run game was really poor. There's no sugarcoating that. You may attribute that to rust or the starters not getting reps in live action, but that does bear watching. This is a very nicely drawn up play. This is the third down conversion. Lamar is going to keep the football, pick up 4. This is on 3rd and 2. You get this motion from Duvernay coming across. You want to talk about how athletic the center is. They pull Linderbaum and end up trapping the 5-tech as you see the right tackle climb, left tackle pull, Ricard go away, very nicely drawn up. Mosley ultimately scrapes over the top and makes a nice play, but the Ravens are able to pick up the first down. This is a 2nd down call. I do like the design of this play quite a lot. I think the Jets play it or defend it very well. The intent of these pullers here, this is the left tackle and the left guard, is to really influence this linebacker, the entire defensive front, but this linebacker in particular. And then they're going to conflict this defender with this hitch that Duvernay runs and the flat route that Mark runs. You can see the quarterback looking to further influence that defender. Ultimately, he reads this as give it to the hitch route that Duvernay runs. And as I said, Mosley plays it very well. Should point out that you can see Morgan Moses getting blown up off the ball right into the pullers. So really jamming up both of these pullers. See, this is an interesting wrinkle off of what appears to be a counter look. I've already mentioned that the Ravens had a hard time getting the run game going. You can give some of that credit to the Jets, I'm sure, their defense. But the offensive line and the blocking did not look particularly fluid or fine-tuned. There's even some confusion with blocks on the edge, I thought. It's interesting they used Mark a lot here as a blocker on counter. This is GY counter. You get your guard pull through, and kicking is Mark. There was another play where he's in the backfield along with Ricard. I don't remember the alignment. He ends up as the lead through, and Ricard kicks. It seemed to me that the Ravens had a fair amount of success off the boot game. Keep your eyes peeled as the season goes on for more keepers by Lamar, where he'll put the ball in the back's belly or seem to, and just keep. And you're going to see crossers from this side. You may even see a tight end kind of slip out under here. And then give Lamar the option to throw a run. But I think the Ravens, in particular with Lamar, or especially with Lamar under center, directly under center, will have great success off of keepers. And I'm talking about downfield success, throwing the football. This is an example of some confusion. I think Pat's supposed to come through here and pick up this linebacker. I think he's supposed to lead through and allow this back to read, and he doesn't. He's of the impression that he's supposed to kick out here. So there is some confusion as to who's to block who on this particular play, and Mosley again comes over and stuffs it. Linderbaum, I thought was up and down. I saw him twice in the first half get ragdolled by a defensive lineman. You can see it here on 3rd and 9. Both times it's one-on-one. He with the nose. I think it was Quinnen Williams both times. But he gets thrown around in both instances. The one that stood up in watching the broadcast itself was down by the goal line, where Williams gets his hands in the throwing lane and knocks the football down. But this is earlier. You can see it at, I think it's quarter one. Definitely first half, 6:09 of quarter one and 3:21. And you can see it right here. This was something that a lot of folks, myself included, saw on tape. It doesn't mean that he played poorly in this game. Doesn't mean he's not going to be great. But it did show up at least twice now in the first half that I've seen. So that's another thing that bears watching. Just some general first blush impression to close out the video. Devin Duvernay, real standout. And I don't mean just as a receiver. He is such a benefit as a returner to the Ravens. Not only is he exceptional as a returner, he's also very, very sure of himself in terms of when to fair catch, when to return. Sure-handed, just have a lot of confidence of him in him in that role. So the Ravens are very fortunate. It also strikes me that Lamar is perhaps more willing to put the ball up in one-on-one situations. That seems to me a point of emphasis. You could see it in this game, particularly as the game went on. That throw to Duvernay in the end zone and that catch by Duvernay were very nice. I think it's the first touchdown that Lamar threw today. You saw him take a shot to Mark Andrews similarly in the end zone. That was broken up, I think. There was also a missed connection, I thought, where Lamar made a nice throw. He had a rough first half generally, I think. The offense did, and was kept in the game by the defense. Not that the game was ever really in doubt, but the offense struggled in the first half. But there was a throw where he led Mark down the sideline on a scramble. I thought Mark kind of pulled up on that a little bit. You saw them make a beautiful connection later in the game. Mark on the sideline. Nice catch, a good throw, just very intuitive. There were times today Lamar was very, very intuitive with the football, throwing the football. Nice touch. A little bit disappointed that we didn't see more out of Bateman. He had that drop early, and he did get a free run, the safety bit. I have to watch exactly to see what happened, and you can't take that away from him. That was good to see him get that score. Owe really didn't I have to watch film on this, but didn't hear his name called at all, and he didn't stand out. Not a big deal, but that's he's going to be somebody who's got to really perform this year along with Bateman, to be sure. The defense, really, this is a defense that's going to keep the Ravens competitive no matter who they're playing. I like that you see these guys around the football, running to the football, but I love that they seem to play with just a ton more discipline than they did last year. There was one play, skinny post, I think it was Elijah Moore, where he kind of stepped out of a tackle that Stevens, who was trailing him, was attempting, and immediately brought down by Marcus Williams. And that struck me in that instant of watching it as a play that could have gone against the Jets last year, against last year's defense, just somebody out of position deep. I thought Isaiah likely looked like a rookie out there today. There was a connection that wasn't his fault. Lamar missed him earlier, and then there was one where there was a miscommunication about what Lamar or the quarterback expected. 32 has great hands, really nice hands on that interception. I think the first play of the game, he may have given up contain, but other than that, he played a great game as well. Pat McCary came in, and my impression was that he held up very, very well at the left tackle side in pass protection. Really impressed by McCary today. Overall, you get a win on the road. Doesn't matter who it is. The Ravens took care of business today.